Have you ever wondered if your probiotics are clashing with your medications or other supplements? If you're taking probiotics along with medications or supplements and you're not sure what's safe to combine, this video will help you. I'll break down which probiotic interactions really matter and how to avoid the most common probiotic mix-up mistakes. So in this video, I'm going to cover why probiotics are generally safe but not always problem-free, which supplement combinations can actually cause gut symptoms, medication interactions that are mild and easy to work around, drug and probiotic combinations that may be risky, and the most important interaction of all, which is probiotics with antibiotics. Hi, I'm Michelle Moore, and I'm a microbiologist whose background is in research and science, but I'm not a medical doctor. This video is not meant to be medical advice, and if you have any questions about medications or supplement interactions, be sure to talk to your doctor. Probiotics are considered very safe for the vast majority of people. They've been extensively studied and used across a wide range of age groups from children to the elderly. In fact, in most cases, probiotics are safer than many over-the-counter medications like pain relievers or antacids. But safe doesn't always mean problem-free. So for some people, especially those with a sensitive GI system or a history of digestive issues, starting with too much probiotic too quickly can lead to digestive symptoms. That's why it often can be a smarter approach to start slow, even with something that's considered safe. Most side effects from probiotics are temporary, dose-dependent, or easy to avoid if you just start slow. One of the most common frustrations people get when starting a probiotic is, I started taking this probiotic, I thought it was supposed to help, and now I feel worse. And in many cases, the problem isn't actually the probiotic itself, but what it's being combined with. Let me give you an example. A woman wrote to us saying that she started a probiotic, a fiber supplement, and magnesium all on the same day. She was trying to be proactive and take her health, seriously and make some positive changes, but she started them all at once and she ended up getting gassy, bloating, and constipated. As it turns out, the combination of too many good products all at once just simply overwhelmed her system. Some supplements have a noticeable effect in your GI system, and it's important to note some of these, especially as it relates to probiotics, and I'm going to cover them in this slide. So here are some minerals that can cause GI symptoms. A big one is magnesium, especially magnesium citrate or oxide. And it can cause loose stools or even diarrhea in higher doses. It can speed up the transit time in your gut, which may lower how much benefit you get from your probiotics. In contrast, magnesium glycinate has minimal effect on the gut or the transit time. Iron is also another mineral, and it can cause nausea, constipation, or stomach pain. They can also feed certain harmful bacteria in the gut, including C. difficile. Now, if you take zinc, especially on an empty stomach, it may trigger nausea or stomach upset for some people. A couple notable vitamins that cause GI disturbances are vitamin C, especially ascorbic acid. If you take higher doses of 1,000 milligrams or more, it can cause gas, bloating, or diarrhea. And even B vitamins such as B1, B6, B12, and niacin can cause nausea, burping, or digestive discomfort in some people. And lastly, there's a few other notable supplements that can cause GI issues, like fiber supplements. That can include psyllium, inulin, or chicory root. Now, fiber is an important example because it feeds bacteria in the GI system, both good and bad. But if your system isn't used to it, if you introduce these too quickly or without water, it can cause gas, bloating, abdominal discomfort, or cramping, or even constipation. Some prebiotic supplements contain fiber as well, and they are commonly taken along with probiotics. Digestive enzymes are also very helpful for a lot of people, but they can cause nausea or a burning feel if the stomach lining is sensitive. And then there's prebiotics. That can be fructooligosaccharides, galactooligosaccharides, or resistant starches. Now, these feed the good bacteria inside of the gut, but they can themselves trigger bloating or gas, especially if you have SIBO or if you have a sensitive digestive system. But starting slowly and staying well hydrated can prevent most of these symptoms. And so if you take any of these or start them out when you first start a probiotic, it can be a little confusing to know what's actually coming from the probiotic or the other supplement that you're taking. The key here isn't to avoid these supplements, but to space them out and stagger them when you start them and go slow, starting with just one change at a time. Give your gut a chance to adjust for a few days before adding in more supplements. That simple shift can make a huge difference in how well your probiotics work and how you feel in the process. If you're taking medications and wondering if they'll cancel out your probiotics or cause side effects, here's some good news. Most drug interactions with probiotics are mild, and in many cases, they'll be easy to avoid with a few simple adjustments. First are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs, like ibuprofen. Now, these don't directly clash with probiotics, but they can make the gut lining more sensitive. So if you are prone to bloating or irritation, start with a lower dose of probiotic and increase slowly. This will give your system time to adjust without adding stress. And then there are antidepressants, especially the SSRIs. Now, some people report digestive changes when combining them with probiotics, not because of a direct interaction, but because both can shift serotonin and gut activity. So if you've recently changed your meds or your supplements, space them out by a few hours and keep track of how you feel. The key takeaway here is that these aren't dangerous combinations, they just require awareness. So just start slow and pay attention to your body, and you'll find out what works for you. Next, let's discuss a few situations where probiotics may have some risks, especially if you're dealing with certain serious health issues or if you're on certain medications. Now, these don't apply to everybody, but they are important to know about. So the biggest red flag when it comes to probiotics is if somebody is immunocompromised, or meaning that you have a weakened immune system. This can be either from chemotherapy, organ transplants, or strong immunosuppressant drugs like cyclosporine or high-dose steroids. Now, since most probiotics contain live organisms, there's a small but real risk that those bacteria or yeast could get into the bloodstream and cause an infection. Now, this is rare, but it has been documented in the medical literature. While this is not something most people ever need to worry about, but if your immune system is compromised or if you have a central line catheter, it's best to check with your healthcare provider before starting a new probiotic. Another drug to be cautious about is warfarin, which is a blood thinner. Some probiotics can influence vitamin K production in the gut, which can theoretically interfere with how warfarin works. So if you're on a warfarin, or if your blood levels are being closely monitored, your doctor may want to keep an eye on you when starting a new probiotic. And lastly is certain antifungal medications like fluconazole. These can cancel out yeast-based probiotics like S. boulardii. So in this case, the probiotic isn't dangerous, but it may be useless if the antifungal wipes out the probiotic. So if you're treating something like a fungal infection, it's better to pause yeast-based probiotics and stick with spore-forming or bacterial probiotics instead. The most important and most common interaction with probiotic use is antibiotics. If you're not handling that one right, it can undo all the positive changes you're trying to do in your gut. The problem is that most doctors don't explain how to use probiotics with antibiotics, or they may give advice that's vague, outdated, or sometimes just plain wrong. So if you've taken antibiotics recently or plan to again, be sure to check out my next video, which covers how to safely mix probiotics with antibiotics.